What's up, people? This is Nj17 here, and I am here with one half of the British Fist, NJ. Say, what's up, NJ? What's up, NJ? Before I get started, I want to do a little bit of promotion with this guy. Please check out his page. He does really great movie reviews, as well as his own personal thoughts about the WWE, TNA, and I don't think he does ROH anymore, but he actually does his own personal views, so please check out his page. For those that don't know what the British Fist are, please check them out. They are awesome. They have the best reviews I have ever seen, and I cannot stop laughing. Exactly. So check out the British Fist on their YouTube channel, and please go by their Facebook page, the British Fist Universe. Awesome wrestling group. Please check it out. You can you can download your videos so everybody there can see it, and also put your opinions there about what their reviews or whatever show you want to put your opinions on. Check them out. Now, let's get started to this discussion. Honestly, this is something that I've been noticing as of late. There are three things that I really want to talk about, and the first thing I want to talk about is the fate of the Divas division. It has been since April Fool's Day since I have seen Beth Phoenix, and she happens to be the Divas champion, and she is nowhere to be found. And it seems that after we found out what happened to poor Karma, God be with her, but and now we pretty much know she's not going to be coming back, or not going to be coming back for a long time, that the Divas division is starting to implode. So I want to know, what is your personal thoughts? What do you think the fate of the Divas division is going to be?
Well, sadly, 2011, late 2011, it started to give me some idea that it could get better. Like, it's an Natalia push, Beth Phoenix becoming a champ, Tamina push, where we've got Karma. There's stuff going on that really made me think maybe there's some hope as we enter 2012 that things were going to come from it. But then we come to WrestleMania, or just before WrestleMania, and the booking just quickly went downhill. Beth Phoenix was nowhere to be seen. We got a horrible WrestleMania match. Natalia went through some stupid gimmick. And then after WrestleMania, there was nothing really there for the Divas division. And I'm just appalled that the small hope I had quickly went within a few shows.
I mean, honestly, it seems to me that they had every opportunity to create wonderful feuds, really great feuds for the Divas division, and try to bring it back up. For example, the whole feud between Tamina and Beth Phoenix seemed like it was going to be something promising that's going to lead up to WrestleMania. But before we thought that was going to happen, they ended up putting at the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, and then put that ridiculous monstrosity of a match at WrestleMania, bringing it down even further. So do you believe that they're doing this on purpose, just to bring in more focus to John Cena and to Brock Lesnar's return?
As much as that could be a possibility, in my opinion, for a long time now, the Divas division has become less important to the WWE. They're more of an attraction for the male fans to be attracted to what's going on in the ring, because the Divas fighting. And it's not more about what the Divas can do anymore. And that's where I think, like we've seen in the past, the WWE have brought male wrestlers in to put talent over, and I think they've really not concentrated on the Diva division, but they could bring in ex-Divas like Lita, they could bring in Trish, they could bring Molly Holly, Michelle McCall, but obviously she's pregnant now, so she's not going to be coming in. So they could bring out ex-big Divas to come back in, to put over younger talent, just to give them more of a focus again, and more of an uprising in the WWE. But sadly, like you said, they are concentrating on other things in the WWE right now.
Well, it's interesting how you brought up like the legends and how to bring them back, because I highly agree. I think that bringing the legends back and actually having these model divas being retrained, repackaged, and I guess represented to the WWE universe, I think that it would actually help the division as a whole. And I also do believe that bringing back the women's championship belt will give the younger divas, especially those from NXT, the incentive to try to become better wrestlers instead of having that ridiculous, gaudy Divas butterfly belt that I think they should have gotten rid of a long time ago, and I should literally kick Vicky Guerrero in the face for making it in the first place. But I think that having that on SmackDown will give them an incentive to be there on SmackDown, but bringing that to Raw, if they get traded, that'll make them, I'll give them more of an incentive to be a woman's champion than a Divas champion. What do you think? Do you think they should actually bring back the women's championship belt?
Altogether, I do see it like this. There should be one Divas belt because, again, the Divas, one, not important, and two, there's not really enough Divas to have two separate belts. And if we go back to what you were saying, the women's belt, that had a lot more importance than this new Divas butterfly belt does. When they changed the belts, the importance quickly went downhill. So I personally think they do bring back the women's belt. It should be because they are actually focused on the Divas division again. And at the minute, as we've just been speaking about, they're not concentrating on it enough to bring back such an important belt.
I guess you have a point, but I hate that belt. I'm gonna be honest, that's the tackiest piece of crap belt I've ever seen in my life, and I really hope for the day they bring the women's championship belt back. It is ugly. Absolutely ugly. I don't care how light it is. It's ugly. But anyway, moving on from there. I guess trying to make a transition from the Divas and moving on to another topic is personal lives of the wrestlers and storylines. Now, I feel like there are two main storylines that have kind of stuck out in my brain. And this was Shawn Michaels and JBL, the whole storyline of Shawn Michaels being completely broke and having to lean on JBL not only for money but also to become his personal doormat and slave. And then you got what's happened currently with CM Punk and Chris Jericho, how CM Punk's personal life and his past of his family end up becoming more to light about his abuse and also the alcoholism with his family and also with his sister's drug abuse. Now, I really do feel like that adding storylines from like adding people's personal lives and storylines, just like you add someone's kid in a storyline, completely cheapens it, completely unoriginal, and it's something that I think is just not necessary because not only is it uncomfortable, it just feels like that you're only putting it in there because you're running out of ideas. So what do you think about that?
Well, with this JBL and Shawn Michaels storyline, the first that comes to my mind for that is a downgrade. Because Shawn Michaels, he's a big name in the WWE. He had so much going for him. He had, obviously, a lot of big matches, feud storylines he's been in. He's probably loaded with money. He did not need to step down and look like a bit of a weak link to JBL. Yes, it gave JBL great heel heat because of the power he had over Shawn Michaels. But you also got to think, would a guy like Shawn Michaels actually agree to do this? One, for the WWE, and two, for JBL. I personally don't think so, and it was really hard to watch.
Well, Shawn Michaels, I can understand why Shawn Michaels did it. And this was pretty much when Shawn Michaels literally actually made a complete turnaround in his life during that time. So I will understand why he would actually put himself in the middle of a storyline, not only because that's something that he's used to being Mr. WrestleMania, but I feel like that it was something to humble himself, to remember his past, and to not make him so arrogant. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did that on purpose, personally. But I guess it just really seemed so uncomfortable. Like, you just didn't want to know that Mr. WrestleMania was broke. Like, that's just something you didn't want to know. You didn't want to see that. When I heard, I was like, you just felt like he was so completely out of sorts and just downtrodden. And I'm like, I don't want to see my Mr. WrestleMania like this. And it's just, it was so uncomfortable, but it just felt so cheap the way JBL did it. But if you can actually argue about it, you kind of feel more emotionally invested in Shawn Michaels' character when you see him in this position. When you see him as someone that's being stepped on and completely ignored and treated like crap. It really did have a great payout at the end of this feud. That's one thing I can say about that. But I just feel like it was just so cheap to throw his life in there, and there was just so much creativity that the creative team could have done. But one thing I can say about it is it really did have a good payout, so it wasn't too bad.
Well, at the end of the day, it did do great for JBL because it gave so much heel heat, which the WWE really wanted. They wanted JBL to be a top heel in the company, and for him to have so much power over Shawn Michaels gave it to him. But it's just, I don't really like it. Yes, the payoff was good, but the build-up to it was a bit heartbreaking for the Shawn Michaels fans because he turned away from Triple H, he turned away from his friends, he was rejecting help, he was rejecting advice. The way they built it up really made JBL the bigger deal in this, even though Shawn Michaels did get his payoff at the end. But overall, the whole storyline, it wasn't good. It's not a storyline I'm going to look back at and I'm going to compliment because it's just something we didn't really want to see. And two, it held Shawn Michaels back to being the man he is. It was more about JBL than Shawn Michaels throughout that feud.
True, because the way Shawn Michaels was treated, you pretty much set out in your mind like what a complete jerk that JBL was. Like, it was all about JBL. I mean, even though you felt bad for Shawn Michaels, the one thing that just set out in your mind was that this guy is a total douche. Like, seriously. And you really wanted this guy to lose. And I think that's what the whole main idea of this storyline was. That to make you hate JBL and to be emotionally invested in Shawn Michaels. So I understand now why they're doing that with CM Punk. But my major gripe about the whole CM Punk feud is that there's no way for it to go. Like, it's only so far you can go with just taunting someone about their alcohol problems or their family's drug problems. Because it was a huge factor in the beginning before WrestleMania. But then CM Punk beat him cleanly. So now you see that CM Punk is a lot stronger as a character, and that anything that Chris Jericho says doesn't affect him as much. So Chris Jericho is going far beyond the Call of Duty to try to torment him, even taking a bottle of Jack Daniels to the head of CM Punk, and still nothing. So that's my major gripe of this feud. It's only so far it can go, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's gonna fall flat before the pay-per-view even starts. I mean, but what is your opinion about that?
Well, in my opinion, they brought Jericho in, and the way they're building up to Punk could be debatable as right or wrong. At the end of the day, Chris Jericho got his match by winning the Battle Royal. We got the match we were wanting for WrestleMania. WrestleMania match, it did its job. It was a match that people were wanting to see. The right person won because it gave Punk his big WrestleMania win against a big name like Chris Jericho. Now the debate is it correct or is it right that the feud continued afterwards? I look at that and think, one, Jericho's a great wrestler to work with, and why not use Jericho to give Punk so much build as a top base in the company, which Jericho's obviously helping get to, and also, as we've seen in the past WrestleManias or past events, the feud does get built up to WrestleMania. And yes, we do think feud should finish at WrestleMania, start a new wrestling year, let's start from a whole new year. But that's not always the case. It's always at WrestleMania. In this case, the heel lost, so obviously the heel is going to want to get his payback, his revenge, like we've seen in the past. We had Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania 25 lose to Matt Hardy. Then at the next pay-per-view, Jeff Hardy beat Matt Hardy. So we've seen in the past they do continue the feuds. So I kind of agree that this one is going to pay off at a big event or big match at Extreme Rules.
I'm not entirely sure if it is going to be a huge payoff. I mean, it's bad enough that at WrestleMania you were completely emotionally drained and tired because they actually had the streak before this match. But I feel like that it's running out of steam because Jericho's running out of ammo. There's going to be absolutely nowhere that this feud is going to go but at the same line, and then it's just going to go down before the pay-per-view even starts. But this match should be the match where it ends. It should not go further from there. It should, after Extreme Rules, I'm hoping that this feud completely dies and does not come back, because it doesn't need to. And Chris Jericho, let's face it, we know he may not be champion. If he does be champion, he's not going to be champion for long. So it's really no point to even start this whole thing, because it's not going to go anywhere, especially for Jericho. I mean, that's how I see it.
Well, since WrestleMania to Extreme Rules, yes, we're getting a continuation of beer, drinking, all this stuff. Yes, it is getting repetitive. Yes, it's getting maybe annoying in some cases, because it's the same thing week after week after week. But at the same time, they're bringing back the whole straight edge gimmick from CM Punk, and they're using it again in 2012 to build up Chris Jericho as a strong heel and to make Punk look vulnerable, which he needs to be if he's going to get a great payoff again at Extreme Rules. And I think when it comes to Extreme Rules, a street fight, Punk can go wild at it. He can destroy Chris Jericho. I'm not making a prediction, but it would be beneficial for Punk after this whole month of madness he's got from Chris Jericho, if he does get the final win over Jericho at Extreme Rules, retains his title, and then to eventually pair up.
But let's face it, that really doesn't need to even happen. It's going to be in Chicago, for crying out loud. They love CM Punk. He's going to get like the biggest applause. He's going to get like the biggest pops ever. Probably a lot more than he got at Money in the Bank. He doesn't even need any of that. We all know that CM Punk is going to be triumphant in this. And Chris Jericho is going to look like an idiot. So we know this is going to happen. There's really no point to even try to put CM Punk over. He's going to be put over by the crowd. So that was pointless. But I mean, I guess I'm not going to go into any predictions as of yet. But screw it. I'm going to go into predictions. CM Punk's going to win. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Moving on to our final discussion is we're into a new era now. The PG era is undercover. It's not no more, but it's undercover. And now we are in the dawn of a new era. Johnny Ace, oh wait, my bad. The era of people power. We are in the era of people power. Now, people power, like power to the people, is all about the WWE Universe. Whatever we say is going to be heard. Whatever we say is going to be counted. Now that Johnny Ace is the new GM of both brands and he's incorporating people power, what do you think about this era? Do you think it's a load of crap? Or do you think that something is actually being done?
People power my arse. Actually, era. The era of Johnny Ace. He's going to step in, show that he's the new boss. All of his plans, all of his matches, all of his feuds, all of his in-bringings are going to be about him, trying to make him look good, make him look like the boss. People that are around him are going to cheer who they want. Go Bryan, go Punk, go Cena, go Triple H. Of course they're going to chant that. But he's not going to pay attention to them. He's not. He's got his own ideas, his own wants, his own direction. So this whole people power, label it what you want. Make signs. Cheer for Laurinaitis. But it's bull. All about him.
I love your fire, NJ. Oh my gosh. That is awesome. But I do hear what you're saying. It's definitely all about Johnny Ace. We know that it's all about Johnny Ace. There is no other way to phrase it, but there is an argument about that. Now, we all know in the YWC that the Off the Rope show, the Schleg Daddy and Mr. Rout started the whole Save Yoshitatsu campaign on Twitter, which trended worldwide and got Yoshitatsu on the show. I think it was Raw or SmackDown, but either or, he was on TV. And even though he was squashed by Lord Tensai, he was on the air after Twitter trended it worldwide. So do you consider that being part of people power?
Personally, no. I think the fact that he was put into a match, yes, you can do what you want, save your favourite wrestler, save Yoshitatsu, well done on the rope show for starting that, but when it comes to wrestling, I'm pretty sure beating Yoshitatsu to Tensai was a plan in their mind already. They're just going to use jobbers, and sorry people, but Yoshitatsu is a jobber now. So basically, I think Yoshitatsu was already a plan in mind to feed to Tensai, and I don't think that was anything to do with Twitter, people trying to save him. I think it was just a jobber to feed to Tensai.
As much as I love Yoshitatsu and I love Yoshi-san, yay Yoshi, but it makes me sad how, okay, you have a little bit of a point. Even though it was great how he has so much support, especially from the Off the Rope show, having him on the air, it really kind of cheapened it to me, seeing how he was completely decimated by Lord Tensai, someone that I consider to be mocking him more than anything else. But it kind of did do its job, if you think about it. It kind of made you feel like if you actually participated in Save Yoshitatsu, it made you feel like you were part of it. So in a way, it kind of did do its job and kind of was somewhat people power because it made the people heard. Not in the way you want to be heard, but you were heard regardless. But, we're agreeing with you, it is all about Johnny Ace. Let's face it. It's all about Johnny Ace. Stupid Eve. I'm not gonna rant. Okay. Made it to where Johnny Ace ended up winning everything, so now we're stuck to seeing him on our screens 2 days a week. But yeah, in the end, it is all about Johnny Ace. It's all about making Johnny Ace look good, and it's really nothing about people power at all. But even though people got a little bit of something.
Well, my two views on this is that yes, the predictable WrestleMania win, we all knew it was coming just because of the stronger team, the fact that Laurinaitis is new to the company as a GM, so in a way it was predictable that after WrestleMania, the backup that it proves is not people power, it's Laurinaitis power, is like you see him invading SmackDown, him making the attention about him attracting Eve, all people, whatever, him taking Ixana, him using Otonga to become champion with Bale.
I agree. They kept adding people throughout that whole match.
That's true. So at the end of the day, Laurinaitis is making his own matches or his own guys look good more than what the people want. Like, if it was what the people wanted, there'll be Alex Riley appearing, there'll be probably Mason Ryan, there'll be other names that fans want to see involved, but sadly, we're not seeing that. We're seeing Laurinaitis' people. Yeah, we get FCW talent in, but we'll have to see how that goes. But at the end of the day, majority of what we're getting is basically around Laurinaitis somehow.
What was it saying? If you don't got it, get it. If you don't get it, figure it out. I love that. But yes, it's all about Johnny Ace.
You have a really good point. Yeah, it's all about people power and that. But down the line, expect him to botch, mess things up. When he books matches
Okay. So do you have any more closing thoughts before we end this?
The last thing I'm going to say is that both GMs at the time went through a firing storyline. Teddy Long had to try and improve this game, he didn't do it. Laurinaitis was going through this firing storyline with Triple H. Eventually it could happen again, so maybe the people power will come to an end in the future, but right now, we just have to accept what we're given.
Pretty much. And, I mean, let's face it, the WWE has definitely been hit hard for the entire year. 2011 was probably the worst year in WWE history, in my opinion. It was the horrible pay-per-views. Only had 2 good pay-per-views out of the year. And unfortunately, I can't count WrestleMania as one of them, even though it was in my hometown. Okay, I'm good. But 2012 should be 2012 should be a year when things start anew. It should be a year when things start fresh. WrestleMania 28 was awesome. It was. It had matches that actually, the strongest matches, had the best views, kept me on my toes, completely entertained. Raw has never been better. They've had their mishaps, but I'm not going to lie, for at least 3 straight weeks, they've had good 3 straight Raws. Except for this past Raw in London. But, sorry, NJ. But SmackDown has definitely improved. I can actually say that SmackDown for this past Friday has greatly improved. They're starting to incorporate people in NXT. And they're starting to incorporate people probably from FCW, bringing them in and having new talent there. And I think that's a great deal. But they should not leave all that out. I mean, they shouldn't leave like everything out. They shouldn't leave out the Divas division, because those women have to work too. They deserve a paycheck as much as their male counterparts. And as for incorporating personal lives and storylines, I think it cheapens it. I think it lacks originality. I guess I'm all about originality. So it feels like that you're definitely just cutting and pasting because you're completely out of ideas. You're out of time. So, okay, let's go into this guy's file and see if we can find the most personal crap we can find and just throw it in there. I mean, that's just how I see how it goes. And also, for people power, I'm going to be positive about this. I'm not going to rant, and I'm not going to say anything negative. I think people power may work somehow. That's the most positive way I can say it. It may work. And with the power of social media and how popular it is, especially with Twitter, but especially with Twitter and Facebook becoming so popular, and now that YouTube has definitely been incorporated into the mix, I believe that people actually now have a voice, and I believe that people can actually exert how they feel about it, whether or not it's on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. They have a voice. And I think that with people power, it may work. It may work. Not the way we want it to, but it may work. But in the end, it is all about John Laurinaitis, Mr. Botchamania, Mr. Old Man and Speedos. But it is all about him. It's going to forever be about him until he gets fired from Triple H. But anyway, that is all it for me. NJ, do you have anything else to say? I know I gave you another closer, but just in case you have anything that comes up in your head, anything else you want to say?
Well, no, I'll say that we've been through some pretty serious topics in the WWE. We keep saying that hopefully the next year or the upcoming year is going to put that right again. Yes, we've got hints of things improving. Let's just see what happens.
I agree. 2012 is a new year, and maybe it'll get better from there. So, this is an Nature Girl 30, and that is NJ. And thank you for... Awesome. And we are signing off. Peace out, y'all.